this video is going to focus on editing, which is intricately tied to writing. Generally, we don't write without editing, and we definitely don't edit without writing. And so, when you think about your writing, you want to think about this process in which we are going to make adjustments to that writing as we go. Now, one of the suggestions that I have for writers, particularly new writers that are working on larger pieces, is to consider rereading what they've previously written so that way they can get into an appropriate flow. This helps them to think about new ideas that they may want to integrate into what they've already written or to what they're about to write. And it's also going to help with connections. Again, we want to make sure that we're providing appropriate transitions between ideas and between sections of our writing. And so there's two main approaches when we're thinking about self-editing. The first of which is to edit ourselves as we go. And so as we're reading through what we've already written, we're editing through that process. The other way is to get all of the writing down and then to begin the editing process. And oftentimes I suggest people work with the second option, in part because the main goal for the first draft of your writing is going to be to get down all of your ideas in a clear and coherent manner in the order that you want them to be in, and to make sure that there's a good flow from idea to idea. Now, you may need to do some editing along the way to make sure that this is appropriate, but generally, if once you get all your ideas down, then you can start to move things around and adjust the language that you're using, and it's a more effective use of your time. Now, when you're starting the editing process, making adjustments to your writing, you want to prioritize the themes that you're presenting, the ideas that you're discussing, and the structure that you present, the order in which you're presenting these themes and ideas over the style of your writing. So you don't want to start with editing grammar, spelling, and punctuation. The idea is to get all of the information down first. And the reason for this is that if you start with the editing of the grammar, the spelling, and the punctuation, you may actually remove those sections of your writing. And so you're spending time on parts of your writing that you're not actually going to use. And so once we've got this first draft and maybe we've gone through and done some editing and adjustments, the first step before we delve back into the writing is thinking about what are those key points that we're presenting. And do we have enough detail and examples to support those key points? And then to think about the weak points that we have, and to think about how we can improve those weak points so that way we only have strong points within our writing. And if there's no way to improve those weak points, is there a need to have it in the writing, or can those be removed? Once we have these ideas and these themes put together and we're solid on the order in which we're presenting these ideas, the next part of the editing process is going to be to consider the choice of words that we're using, the flow of those words through the page, and the tone that we're presenting to the reader. Is the reader going to respond to our writing positively? Are they going to be interested and intrigued and want to share the writing? Or are they not going to be interested because the writing is too dry or your personal tone is too strong for their particular interest? And then once we have worked on editing this and completed this part of the editing process, the last portion of making adjustments to our writing will be on the spelling, the grammar, and the punctuation. We want to make sure that we're being professional and technical in our writing, and that we're not forgetting to include any type of appropriate punctuation or that we're misspelling words. This is going to be one of the first things that people see in our writing, and if they notice these issues, then they're going to be less apt to want to continue reading or to take us seriously as a writer. So once we've gone through and we have completed a first draft, we've made some edits to that draft, we now have our second draft. And what I would suggest is to leave that second draft alone for at least several days. So that way it gives our brain a chance to relax and that we're not too deep into the writing itself to potentially miss some of the areas of editing that maybe we overlooked because we were too deep into the writing. Once you pick that second draft back up, one of the suggestions I make, particularly for new writers, is to read the writing aloud. and to record yourself. And this is going to be weird, but you can use your phone or a recorder or your computer. And then once you've read through the writing, and you don't need to be flawless in your reading, but you do need to get through all of the writing that you have, listen back to the writing. And then note these important areas. Are the themes and ideas clear? Do you have appropriate support using details and examples and references? Or is there some disruption that we have? Are the transitions clear, or do you jump from idea to idea? In listening back to yourself, it's then going to put you in the mind of the reader, and this in turn is going to allow you to appropriately re-edit your work. And once you do so, then you should feel comfortable sharing your work with other people. These could be personal relationships with friends or family, or it could be colleagues or anonymous reviewers for any type of scientific article that we're looking to publish. You want to make sure you feel comfortable about your writing and that you feel like your writing is complete and finished before you share this, because it's important to note that the people reviewing our work are going to take their time out to provide us with feedback, and so we want to provide them with the best product as possible. And in doing so, before you give anything to a potential reviewer, you want to make sure you've been as harsh as possible on your writing to make sure that it is as solid as possible, the ideas are supported well, and that the ideas are both concise and clear. Make sure that you are looking at each aspect of your writing, every paragraph, every idea, every sentence, and then if there's certain areas that are not supported well enough or not described in detail, make sure that you make those adjustments before you give those to anyone. And if there's any weak points or any unneeded material, remove those before you share your writing with anyone. And when you're doing this, think about perspectives from your audience. Who are the different people that are going to be reading this? What are their perspectives? And how can you incorporate your writing to account for those differing perspectives? Again, one of the keys before you give your writing to anyone is to make sure you don't have any spelling or grammatical errors, or you haven't missed any punctuation, and also that the writing is in the appropriate format. If you're supposed to have different sections of your writing, make sure you have those different sections. If you're supposed to identify your thesis overtly, saying my thesis statement is, make sure you do so. Make sure that you are technically sound, because one of the first things somebody will notice when they're reading your work is if one of these aspects is off. And then the reader is more likely to focus on these smaller aspects, which you will need less criticism on than the bigger aspects, the ideas, the order, the transitions that you're making between these ideas. In science, we go through the peer review process in which scientific articles and books and other things that are being published are reviewed by other experts in the field. And then these folks are providing suggestions in which to improve the writing. And hopefully the criticism is constructive and it's returned within a reasonable amount of time. Now, these comments and the suggestions reviewers are making will be somewhat broad, but also specific. And these can be as specific as including certain spellings of words or using a particular reference, but also they can be very global in saying that the work does not fit within a particular field of study, or it doesn't connect well across different ideas. And some reviewers can be a bit harsh. And this may make us a bit protective of our work and think that that reviewer didn't know what they were talking about. But as mentioned in earlier videos, use the criticism as constructively as you can. Use it as fuel to improve your writing, and limit the amount of subjectivity that you have in the response that you have to these comments. Now, as a writer, you have to know that in certain times you will serve as this reviewer. You learn to write not only by writing, but also by assessing other people's writing. And so in addition to writing every day, reading every day is another key element to becoming a very good writer. And you can assess how other people connect their ideas. How are they including these disparate fields of study. What are those transitions that they're using and the broader impacts that they're bringing in? What's their style? How much personalized narrative do they have compared to the technicality that we might expect? And as a reviewer, if you're doing so formally or informally, you want to you put yourself in the shoes of the author. When you're providing comments to the author, think about how that person's going to perceive the comments. You want to provide them with constructive criticism that is as focused and specific as possible. If you give any kind of a global statement, it can be really difficult for the reader to use that constructively to improve their writing. But if you provide something specific, it will be much easier for that writer rather, to edit their work and improve this as you see fit. And then as the author, when you are receiving these reviews back or this criticism back from the people you've asked to read your writing, don't take the criticism personally. Don't think that the person doesn't like you and that's why that these comments are being made. Realize that the person is commenting on your writing. And so use that information to improve your writing. And the goal for every scientific journal, as well as every writer in general and editor, is to find multiple people to review writing, because there are different perspectives on writing. People have different insight and experiences. And this is going to better inform the writing and improve the writing overall for the general readership, which is the main goal, because we're aiming to produce the highest quality writing that we have within the time that we've given ourselves to do that writing.